I
Okay.
I differ, Mr. Frederick, because it was earlier that it has to be the same. So imagine whole year we taught them, basically we taught them for
Different
6 years,
topics.
5 years, and
Hmm.
you are saying that criterion A and B both will be on the same topic. So I disagree with this, and I also read the guide and we discussed a lot, and we came to the conclusion then that if they choose only one topic, it means if the child missed that topic by mistake, by chance, that child's favorite topic is not pollution, and you gave criterion A and B on pollution, then that is not fair with the
No,
students also.
what I'm
And
trying to
we
say is
have
this:
so many
I
topics
got.
and themes.
Okay.
See, unfortunately, we
One
don't.
minute, one minute, one minute, one minute, one minute. Let Suman finish, and then Frederick, you. It's like a
Okay.
debate here.
No, no, no.
No, no. So, Frederick, I'm not, disagree with you. Disagree with the, but with the students. I'm looking at that perspective. So we had
Yes.
really so much of discussion in the school also, and
Hmm.
I was the one who said I will not going to give the same topic, and I put my thoughts down. And there is 12 to 15 people are in my team, and they said yes, dum to hai baat mein. So that's why. So I feel that criterion, the IB's the idea is that the child should be able to have those skills to connect criterion A and criterion B and write answer together. What is the problem if we can give the last question in criterion B related to criterion A, video, and criterion B, reading text? Okay, if we give them what was the attraction in criterion A, or how it is related to the criterion B, or how it is different from the criterion B. So I feel that the content should not be, or the topic should not be the same. That's it.
Okay, Frederick.
Well, so, but I definitely agree with you in terms of from the student's point of view. But what I'm sharing is like, unfortunately, since we do not have the past paper material for both M23 and November 23 yet on the website, there is still a lot of debate going on that. But for the first-hand information that I have got from my students last year who wrote the exam is that the topic for criterion A and criterion B were the same. There were like three kind of questions completely based on criterion A, which is strand 1 and 2, completely based on criterion B, strand 1 and 2, and finally there is one more section which is strand 3 of both criterion A and B together, where if I'm not wrong, the students were saying that it was related to identities and culture. The last year's, I mean, like M23. I didn't get to interact with those who wrote in November 2023, but N23 was related to culture and festivals and all those things. So written task was also, the reading comprehension was based on identities and culture. Speaking was also, sorry, the listening comprehension was also based on this one, identities and culture. And there was a question which was comparing and contrasting the elements of the written text and the spoken text. This is the first hand information that I got from my students, and that student got a 7 also. He got a 7.
Okay. Also, after you finish the exam, okay, I think teachers also get a link to give feedback on the paper, don't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Yes,
Yeah.
Miss
you
Ashika.
you should have read those questions, and you would have made some notes or something, because you have to give a feedback on it, right? Gana, you had something to say?
Yes, good evening, everybody. Again, one reason why I wanted really to join this discussion is earlier, I think about a month ago, I asked the question, a colleague of mine asked a direct question in the group, and how is the criterion C speaking supposed to be designed? I remember some of us who were like firmly saying that only a picture needs to be given, no guiding questions, but only the picture plus the theme, right? So
Yeah,
I disagreed with that at that moment, and I kept pushing because for me it was not making sense at all. And recently, of course, fortunately, in March 2000, Frederick, it was in
Mr. Ghana, you're on mute. I think
March
I can't hear him.
2023, they updated
No,
the.
I can hear him.
Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you,
Yeah,
Gana.
yeah, you are audible, Mr. Ghana.
Yeah.
Okay. So I was saying that in March 23, the guide was updated. It was already a guide, but the guide was updated. And April, 24th of April, 2023, there is a, I don't know if you have ever had access to the teacher support material. If for instance, if you share with, if you allow me to share my screen, I can also show what I'm talking about here, which is absolutely interesting to, because how I started teaching the MYP in 2016, and this the thing was one of the biggest help. Here, for example, it shares how to design the task for language acquisition, the criterion A, objective, the B, C, D.
I also
and
use this, yes.
each
This
one
is
of
very
them, what are the specific questions that could be asked for strand 1, strand 2, strand 3. And one interesting fact here, when I come to designing interactive oral task, because I had my entire team was against it, and I kept really looking for different information and all till we come back to this. Because for me, what I learned from my journey of MYP in criterion D and speaking and writing, the command terms are always welcomed in the way we formulate the questions. So it was not making sense for me, missing the, it was not, I wouldn't call it a guiding question, but instruction to the students, telling them, describe, explain, detail, tell me more about something. And I was happy to see that the IB itself suggests that the questions we should ask, along with the image, the stimulus, must come with the, like a guiding question.
Statement.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, for me, I just also shared some suggestion of topics that I would love to discuss. I mean, during on Sunday, and I don't know if anybody has something else to add also. Because for me, this is really a big matter. Most of the teachers are completely, some people are saying that it has to align with TP, and no, this is an alignment because it's allowing the transition, but it always should come with a small little kind of open guidance, some topic that the student can decide to orient towards him and, lead the discussion, because this is just a kind of a stimulus, as its name says it. For less than 2 minutes, the kid has to start the discussion, and from there we pick it up and ask a question. So if in the beginning we just share a picture, it really, it gets them lost, especially because this year I have phase 2. When I had phase 4, it was a little more easier, but phase 2 is just showing them a picture with the topic. It just makes them lose a lot of time before really coming to the grip of the subject.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Khanna. Frederick, I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, I was wondering about the giving the command terms. Like, I think, Mr. Ghana, you mean to say that we train them beforehand on the command terms, or you mean to say that these command terms should be given along with the pictures? Because the guide says and the TSM says that the written matter should be very minimal.
Yeah, that is about the picture. So there is a confusion there. The IB, it's because I really spend a lot of hours discussing with trying to interpret each one of these things. So what I understood from there, it means, for example, because the multimodal stimulus could be even simple question or an advertisement. For example, I could pick up an advertisement from outside and share it. Some of them used to be collage. And if the picture has some text, it has to be minimal text, which is not giving an unfair advantage to the student. It's not about the question that accompanies the picture. I don't know if you understand me.
Maya, would you want to comment? Because you have seen both batches of e-assessments.
Yeah. As just Ghana has said that it should, I think it's already given in the guide that it should be an image, poster, illustration, advertisement, or a short written message. So, or quotes or captions. So it will be very easy for each and every student to speak on particular topic with images. Of course, I will always promote for multimodality. So, and as just Frederick has said that in this year, I also observed that they have given same similar topic for capable as well as for emergent. Like for example, they have given in this year Taj Mahal ke baare mein and Delhi ki Dhadkan place. So the topic are same. But previous it was Chhat Puja and then cultural based something. It was lok kala. It was like that in Hindi.
Yeah,
Capable.
culture. Yes.
So still we can't say that yes, as Miss Suman has said, we have to give different topics. It's true. We have to give different topics for A and B, where they can compare. Even I saw in these papers last 2 years, they have given same topic, but in that also they had given the compare and contrast wala questions were there. So it's not still clear what we have to do. We have to prepare as per both how Miss Suman has said and how Miss Frederick has said. So what we are doing eAssessment end of the year unit, where end of the semester unit, where we are training them in same topic, and another one we are training them as per eAssessment paper, end of the unit and as per eAssessment. So we are trying to train them in both things because still it's not clear how and what kind of topic we have to give for eAssessment.
Okay. Any other inputs? Yes, Gana.
Oh, okay. Suman, you can
Suman,
talk
yeah,
first.
you can go ahead.
Okay. So I just want to share what we are practicing. Although I don't agree with my HOD and the team, but since he is HOD and he took the decision, so I totally agree with Mr. Ghana that my HOD also suggested that let us align with the DP, the speaking. I'm talking about the speaking part. So he said, and I also agree with Mr. Ghana that we should give some sort of starting point or some sort of question or some sort of prompt to the students in written form also. Then it will be a multimodal text. So in school we are practicing as per our HOD is saying that no, let us do it, align it with DP. So we just give the theme and we just give the picture. But what we have decided that all the 16 subtopics are there, so we gave all 16 topics and we create a question paper with 16 images, so that, and we just give random questions to the students, or the two themes to the students to choose one among those. So that's how we are doing right now.
I just wanted to ask one question before Gana goes ahead. What about when the examinations were e-portfolio? Yeah. So that time you would get some pictures to talk about, right? That time IB gave you those pictures and talk about those pictures. So
Yes.
does this help, or it is like totally different from what was given earlier? Yeah, Gana.
Can I answer to that?
But
Yes, because I was also teaching, as I said, I started with the first batch of MYP in my school and I had no idea how it worked. So I spent so much of time looking for information. And at that time, there was also this page. Now it has been updated. I was talking about the update because it came right a month after the 24th of April 2023.
April,
And I
yeah.
think the latest guide also were updated in the beginning of March. This was in April, a month and a half later. So this was my essential guidance for the previous batch also. So the IB used to provide the unit planner with the guiding with the details and everything, and we came up with the pictures. No, the pictures for criterion C and criterion D was provided with IB,
Yes.
and it was more or less similar to this. So there is not much change here. And even if we read the previous guide and the latest guide also, the changes are not that much. So right now, I understand what you mean, Suman, because the same discussion I had in like for 3 consecutive meetings with my whole department, they all said it has to align. I said, no, it cannot align because it doesn't make sense at all. So I kept looking for different information and all, and that's what came out. So for me, I think this is an excellent, because if you see in phase proficient communicator, it's talking about argue, examine, and even if you go to the guide, I think the last pages are giving the command terms to be used. And in the same way, it used to be the same for the from the IB also when it was e-portfolio. I still have some of those samples here on my laptop if it's interesting. So yeah.
Yes, Suman.
My journey was also just like Mr. Ghana, that I have been in the school from the beginning, and I taught all the portfolio. And when he was speaking, all my images were coming and going out of my mind. That I also did the same, and the same document helped me to clarify so many doubts. So I just kept on reading, and whenever I create the question paper, design the question paper, I used to read it. But as Miss Ashika, you said that I feel that when IB gives us the pictures, I think they bound us, and I feel sometime or some other way, uh, we want to be fair, but kahin na kahin we just feel that we give that hint to the students, and sometimes it happens unknowingly, unintentionally. So I feel now we are a bit free to design the question papers and design the criterion C and D, and I love this version of MYP LA MYP.
Okay. Anybody else want to comment on this? No one.
No, I mean, like, I was just when Mr. Ghana and Ms. Suman were sharing their views. I was just thinking of the most recent assignment, assessment that I created for my students. We just finished one trial for my MYP 5. The second one is coming up. So if you could just allow me to share the screen where I could show the visual stimulus which I created for the most recent exam. It was over. So this is a. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
So, like Mr. Ghana, and maybe I don't know if this is what exactly they talk about a multimodal thing. This is something which I chose, and I ensured that the written matter is like really, really minimal because I didn't want them to get a lot of information. Say, for example, this one had a lot of writing in it. I had to edit that. I just let these numbers be there, but still a little bit of images are there. And I just mentioned the theme. What is the main theme that it is connected to? Because sometimes when there is no theme mentioned, students being kids, they don't understand what theme they should connect it to, because this can be connected to many other things also. Maybe they can think of travel or whatever. So
So
this is
just putting in my one thing. So what happens is their transfer skills are weak and observation skills are weak.
very true. That's, I mean, like, I can't disagree though.
Yeah.
Can't disagree. So
Uh,
this is the maximum text or written text that I mentioned allowed in my visual stimuli in terms of multimodal stimulus. There is a little bit of written matter also. There is a lot of visual element also to be used.
Yes, Miss
Mr. Sir,
Suman.
can I ask you
Yeah.
one question?
Hmm.
It's not because I don't have that clarity, but what when I used to read, that guides generally whenever I have a doubt. So can you please this image, and can you please come down a bit, that building picture. Miss
Yes.
Ashika, I want you to clarify, or someone else who is more knowledgeable about this. So
Hey, don't tell
I
me, huh,
I
Miss Suman. My expertise is science.
but you talk always about LA, and I just love that.
That is because when I shifted to Edubridge International School, at least when I was in my previous school, I had a co-coordinator and we worked on our strengths. Okay, so she did
Okay,
languages and I had no idea about language
okay.
acquisition. But when I went to Edubridge, I was alone. So most of the time, I found myself in language acquisition meetings because they were telling, "Oh, faces, how do we do?" I was scratching my head and I was thinking, "Oh, how do we do?"
Hmm.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what I want to know, that this picture, as per my understanding from the guide, we are not supposed to give this type of picture, Mr. Frederick. It has to be a human action picture. A child, if you want to give some school picture, this picture should not give. Maybe I'm wrong. So I just want to, I'm not claiming that you are wrong. I whatever my understanding is, that the picture should be with human in action. We
Okay,
can't give just like this.
anybody else want to comment on it? Yes, Gana.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the picture is not of a problem, but I'm just thinking in a perspective of a student. Right now, for example, if I ask any of us to talk about this, you might take half the time, which is 10 minutes, to think about what you're going to talk about.
Okay,
Frankly.
well, see, Ghana, because French is not my subject. If it was in Hindi, I would have able to read and speak and everything. Okay, so if the
Yeah.
theme
Now,
is about local and
so the thing is,
transportation and tourism, I don't know. I'm just reading those words and making connections.
yeah, I know what you mean. But now what I'm talking about here is that each one of the themes of the MYP is absolutely wide. It is not like DP. DP will tell you identities, dot. The second unit is social organization or experiences or technologies or environment or like sharing the planet. Now here, V local is a local life, travel and tourism, which is a little wide. When you give this to students, maybe phase 4 might have a lot more, maybe connectivity skills, like those skills that you mentioned. But when it comes to phase 2 students, think about a phase 2 students, and you want them. Phase 2 is like they are at a lower level, seriously. If we do not give them guidance, for me, I think we are blocking them from the very beginning. Like here, for example, it has to come with the guiding questions. If I had 2 feedbacks to give you, one is it needs to have a instruction, a clear instruction. And second thing also, IB is encouraging to put down the source of the image. So that also has to be added for the thing. But for me, if you allow me also, I have just printed some of these documents and I could also share because I have made it close to what we had previously. I just added the theme on top of it.
Okay. So
Frederick, you
answering
want to
that
say something?
question,
Yeah.
yeah. So basically in the guide, if you see, they have given what kind of images can be used as visual stimulus. So they could be photographs, they could be images, illustrations, and posters. So basically this is an infography which I found. This is what basically is an infography. And in fact, even I was very skeptical when I used this, but the students were able to express a lot. Say for example, they were comparing a big city to a small town to a village, and they were able to talk about the advantages. They were talking about things like, there is less pollution, there is more jobs. In fact, like again, since we work on our own subject group overview and we create our own curriculum Friday right from MYP4. So I think as teachers, I think it's a responsibility to give them an idea of what are the areas that they can explore. Say, for example, this is, in fact, last term itself, I mean, like it was in their MYP4 is when they had done this unit on city, me and the places around me. Or they were talking about the advantages of countryside, disadvantages of countryside, advantages of cities and disadvantages. So I mean, like I think it goes a long way. It's not that you are teaching something else and testing something else. You start imbibing these skills right from the beginning is what I would say. Because right from the beginning, in fact, I have used similar pictures, like where there is a one side there is a countryside and the other side there is a city, and they talk about the moment they see two different aspects, they start comparing. So in terms of grammar, they get to use it aspect like comparison, degrees of comparison. Il y a moins de population, il y a plus de population, il y a plus de job, il y a plus de boulot. There is more job in city, there is less job. There isn't anything to do to entertain yourself in a countryside. Life is boring. So it again gets them to explore, to analyze the picture in detail. So I think as teachers, right from the beginning, we are developing those skills of thinking out of the box is what I would say. In fact, like out of my 15 students, because of, in terms of the distribution, only one student happened to get this picture, and she did a good job is what I would say.
Yeah, because you have practiced it in class, and that is absolutely normal. We should not really come to school to the final exam and give them something which is completely different. Yeah. But what I'm saying is the IB has suggested some requirement, and it has to have a kind of a instruction. I prefer to call it instruction rather than guiding question because it should not be direct. It has to be a little open. to allow the students to elaborate and develop that particular thing. And that this teacher support material is the real source to find those information, because even if you go to criterion A and B, it suggests specific kind of questions also, like that could be asked for strand 2, strand 3. And we see a little, I have noticed a little evolution or change in the term of those kind of questions, how we formulate it as well. I have shared the link here. It would be good really to go through it and just go detail after detail and see, because the guide, the MYP has this gift of sharing ambiguous guides. That was forever. I mean, since the past 10 years is the same thing. No, seriously,
I like that.
especially in language acquisition, the guide is never enough, because if we read it, all of us read some passage of the thing, we will have different interpretation. And I'm saying that because I have spoken with like hundreds of different teachers. But then I just go back to the IB source itself, and from there I take my my outcomes, and that will be the final course. So here, as I said, I would suggest that. And yes, of course, I mean, the link is something that they are emphasizing in the what was the term they use, academic honesty or something like that. Then when you need to, it will be recommended to add the source at the end of the page also. Yeah, end of the below the picture.
Patrick, I have one question. What is the theme? What you have written? What is that theme? I can't understand this one. So, what you have written over there?
This is city life, local life, travel and tourism is the overall the broad theme. Under that you
Okay.
have home, neighborhood and everything, but I just chose to put the main theme.
Okay, it is broad, right? It is broad. So where you will assess them, where he will, what any students, what
So
particular
basically, I've
topic
just
he will
taken
speak
this
means,
into the guide.
if how Ghana has said, if you will give them some situation, picture of a situation where they can speak about that city. Matlab, you know, city, if they are in emergent, describe your city, right? Describe your city. I don't have images problem. That is good. So, you know, they are, they can take idea from it. But situation, what kind of, you know, you are expecting from students? What you expecting from students? If it
So
will be broad,
basically,
then
it's about the
everything is
description
right.
of the visual stimulus.
Yeah, then everything will be right. If it will be broad, then everything will be right. So, suppose I said, you know, why school are important? Why
the
school are
focus.
important?
Where do you want to take
that
the
is
student, the
situation.
focus?
We have to give them situation. See, if this one is school, so why schools
basically,
are
see, when it
important for
comes,
you? So where you have, there you will
no,
give
this is not about school.
multimodality
It's
kind
not
of.
about
No,
school. It's
No,
about
I'm just
places.
giving you one example.
अगर माया तुझे अगर क्वेश्चन लेना होता था इस पे, ओके, अगर तेरे को असेसमेंट लेना होता था, तुझे अगर लेना होता था, तो फिर तू क्या क्वेश्चन पूछता?
अगर ये यात्रा के ऊपर, ये यात्रा क्यों महत्वपूर्ण है? यात्रा इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि हमारे शारीरिक मानसिक सब इसको, यू नो, मतलब वो ऐसा सब सिचुएशन होता था, तो उसमें बच्चे बोलेंगे क्यों महत्वपूर्ण है, इस तरह का सिचुएशन देकर। तो इवन गाइड केस में भी दिया गया ना कि जब बच्चा डिस्क्राइब करता है, व्हेन स्टूडेंट्स विल डिस्क्राइब इन पेज नंबर 73 they have said that describe means give a detailed account or picture of situation, event, pattern or process, where you have to give them some situation.
मिस माया, इसमें ये भी पूछ सकते हैं ना कि वो जहाँ भी जा रहा है उस यात्रा में क्या भोजन है, क्या बस है,
हम वो ऐड करेंगे ना उसमें, मगर उसको वो, हाँ, वो सिचुएशन देना पड़ेगा उसको, नहीं तो सब कुछ सही है, then everything is correct, will be correct.
So it is so open-ended, Frederick. Then for you to say that this is the correct answer, this is what I am expecting, okay? Your task-specific clarification is too wide. Then what are you going to write? Because if I'm going to give a rubric on this, okay, and if I'm going to give a task-specific rubric on this, then how am I going to, you know, create that?
But I feel, Miss Ashika, for me, these there are three different pictures. And students, which phase is this, Mr. Frederick? Emergent or
the
what?
phase 2. This is phase 2. Phase 2.
Yeah, emergent.
Emergent. They have just 1 minute. And I feel personally, no offended, please, Mr. Frederick, don't take it like that. For me, I feel that they have only 1 minute to speak, and you gave three different pictures. Student will not be able to focus. We should give only one picture as per my perspective. Maybe I'm wrong, but whatever I interpret from the guide, that there should be only one picture, and the child has to find out the vocabulary, and he has to think about this in 10 minutes, and he has to speak just for 1 minute to explain. So if he will start explaining all three pictures, then he will get confused and he will not be able to do justice with the pictures. The whole purpose is not solved as per me. So I
I
feel
think
one
it
picture
depend
should
on
be there.
I think it's depend on students, how what kind
Exactly.
of students level are there.
Yes.
So some students require more prompts and some students are very comfortable with one image.
Okay,
Maybe.
Miss Rashmi wanted to say something.
Yeah, Miss Ashita and Miss Maya, I have a one question. In the guide, there's a portion like global issues. Okay, under the global issue, there are many issues comes. Okay, Atangwad, Berozgari, Bal Mazdoori, so many. So if you are wanted the children to speak about global issue, are we supposed to show them one picture, or like we can correlate 2, 3 picture? What will be your idea?
Okay, experts here. Sorry, Miss
I
Rashmi.
feel,
Science is
that
my expert subject
I
expertise.
I feel, Miss Bajaj, I feel that you should give only one picture, because I experienced for specifically for emergent level. If you will give them too many pictures, students will not be able to speak, and there will be no coherence. How will you create a coherence
Yeah.
between the one thought to another?
Exactly.
And where will be the language? If you will give 3 4 picture, student will say the child is not get the opportunity to read. So education is the global issue. Here the pollution is so much in this picture. Where is the coherence? And what are purpose as a language? We have there has to be a coherence between thoughts, and that's how you will.
Also, when there is speaking, I think it is also an interaction, right? First,
Yes.
the child speaks, and then you counter question in order to see whether they are
Yes.
fluent in that subject, and whether they know how to
Yes.
use vocabulary to explain whatever
Yes.
you are asking
Yeah.
to
And Miss,
the explanation
Yeah.
given by the student.
So same
yeah,
confusion was even I was having, like in a emergent it's 1 minute and in capable 1.3. The initial time is 1.3.
1.5.
Like very short how it's going
One and
to,
a
okay,
half.
he can take
Yeah.
some name, but he can explain at least 1 point properly, right? Yeah.
I think
Miss,
1 minute,
Miss
1 minute.
Ashika, Miss Ashika, it's depend on what statement of inquiry you have taken in that particular images and what till now grade MYP 1 to MYP 5 what kind of topic you have taught them. See, in emergent we can't take Bal Mazduri and all topic.
Capable
Emergent we
ma'am.
are taking travel. तो that kind of
Family.
thing you can use. हाँ, तो travel का महत्व, sometimes हम लोग उसमें word use करते हैं, it's important, मानसिक, छुट्टियां और
Mansik
Leisure.
control.
Leisure.
हाँ, please. तो वो सारी चीज, that kind of thing you can include in that, where they can make sentence or where they can. And what I will said, if you are using 3 prompts, how Patrick has used it, and he takes any idea from any one picture, that will be also okay. Not necessarily that but in that particular image he has to speak depthly in 1 minute, okay, like that. It's not necessary he
Because
can do 3 images or he can use 1 image, because we don't know, we have different kinds of levels of students. So someone understanding 8 images like that. Yeah.
1 minute. Mr. Ghana had his hand right up. Frederick, wait for your turn. Okay, Ghana, go.
Okay, so I wanted to answer to Ms. Shman the question about the 3 images. I think it is still acceptable to have even a collage and so, but
Yeah,
personally, I
collage
wouldn't
kind
give
of.
this
Yeah,
kind of image
yeah.
because it is absolutely important that the students makes a presentation of the stimulus. So what I tell my students is your stimulus can come with it can be a picture, it can be also a simple question quoted, like that is there also. Or for example, they give a statement and ask you discuss with your teacher or share your opinion. Now that command term is very important because according to the levels, we'll see different command terms. If we go to the guide, the French version, the English version, for example, at the page 73, it tells about those command terms, the most common command terms used in language acquisition. So it's important to go back there and see what are the kind of command term we can use in our course. So for personally, I also avoid direct questions because students need to be able to share or to highlight or to discuss something, for example. And let's not forget that this is a stimulus that starts the discussion. It is not the whole exact thing. So even I tell them, avoid writing text. Use a mind map. Write the vocabulary you see that you're going to use to describe briefly the picture, and write also the vocabulary or the pointers of what you are going to, how you're going to share your idea. Because if you want to write a text 10 minutes, you won't have time at all to do it. So I'm training my school kids really to use mind maps and do that. So the presentation also doesn't need to be deep and detailed. No, they need to describe, present the picture, and they can mention whatever they see on the picture. Now, if you have a picture like this, it becomes a little tough for the students to interpret maybe the percentages that are given there and all of that. It creates a little, and in 2 minutes or in 1 minute for phase 2, it becomes absolutely difficult for them, I believe, to do so. So I'm trying to give them a picture that represented the nature and something relevant. For the question that Ms. Rashmi has asked, and it comes to global issues, for example, one of the pictures I have chosen for my mock exam, which is coming on the 9th, on 8th or 9th. So one of the pictures is a child who has a plant and she's just planting it on the soil. Yeah, so that is one thing. And there are 3 of them. Another one is a group of
No,
kids
no,
who
no,
are
no,
picking up
don't tell your questions because
yeah,
this will go.
a group of kids who
You'll
are
have to
picking up
you'll
trash.
have to change your question paper, Gana.
No, it's
Don't share
okay
your
because
mock exam question
those are
paper.
all images that I took from the internet. Or the other one about environment is a group of kids who are picking up trash. And from there, I formulate a instruction that tells them discuss or expose or explain the problems that you have in your environment. So I'm trying to give them instruction that is a little open, and then allow them in that area to lead the discussion wherever they want. They will introduce it, and from there I pick up from their ideas. I don't even prepare guiding practice questions because it leads them to confusion sometimes. So I train them to frame questions according to a picture or a theme, and then when we discuss, it becomes much easier. I'll just pick up from their whatever they say. I bounce on that and ask them 3 to 4 questions, and usually sometimes the main issue is usually vocabulary, but otherwise they will understand the question and they'll be able to discuss it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Frederick, you were saying something. Your hands is still raised.
Yeah, I was just trying to bring a balance between what Ghana had to say and the Miss Maya also. So basically, it is a stimulus. It starts the thinking process, is what is my belief. So I don't expect my students to describe it completely. In fact, even an ab initio or a language B student won't be able to do that because there is a lot when it comes to that. So, and again, one of the aspects that the IB wants the examiners to do is to ask extension questions. Let's say they ignored or they did not notice some of the aspects of the picture. I can ask, like, say, for example, the student in the given 1 minute, they spoke only about services in the city. Then I can direct my question related to the transportation. What do you use to travel to your school? That is a question that I can ask an emergent student. And what do you do for short distances? So they use other means of transport, like I walk or I use the bicycle. So I'm giving them opportunities to use other aspects related to that, because when we teach the topic of city itself, city life, uh, means of transport comes as a main aspect, especially the public transport. And again, when we talk about public transport, we connect to pollution, reducing pollution. If we have to reduce pollution, you have to use public transport. And the student also is to create the target language connection, where they can talk about what the French government is using to reduce pollution in France. And so those things. In fact, I was just thinking of, while this discussion was happening, I was going back to one of the suggestions that they came from the IB in those partially completed unit planner times. So
In
this is actually
2018.
a collage. If you see over this picture, This came from the IB, and it is actually niveau débutant, which is emergent level. And we are talking
Mhm.
about what would be difficult, what would be broader for SIDS, and this is what the IB gives us. Like you have a city, you have different landscapes, you have desert, you have
Mhm.
snow, mountain, a very thickly populated city.
Allow
So
me to just to add here something. Here, the focus was not to describe the picture. It was essentially to answer the questions. And here they were giving like direct question. If you see, quel est ton endroit idéal pour vivre? What is your ideal place to live? So here the
yes,
students did not have to describe picture at all. They had to go straight to the question and
Mhm.
answer it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now they
But
have
Yeah.
now
made
we
that
have to
change in the
explain the
new one where
picture.
you have to introduce the picture along with the theme,
Exactly.
connected with the theme. And even the guide speaks about connecting it with the target culture, which is a little difficult for a phase 2 student to do, to be frank. Yeah. So, and one of the exigence, one of the requirement of the stimulus right now is to offer the students scene, what is it written? Offer sufficient information for students to describe a scene or situation. You see, so that's why for me, I want to simplify it and give them one picture that give them something where they can just say this kid is planting a tree, or this city is very populated. For example, if I take one example of those 3 pictures and all. Yeah. So, or even when I do a collage that I have stopped doing since the e-portfolio has changed. When I used to do it, I used to give them collage related, for example, to a routine, something that is a continuous scene, and they will be able to use that to describe it. So yeah, so it's absolutely important to keep that in mind while choosing the picture. It is a difficult task, and everybody has different perception of how to do it. Though. Did you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
We can
okay,
hear
good.
yes, you were.
See, it's now 1 hour and we've had such a nice discussion. I can see we are so passionate about our subject and would want to, know more about whether we are doing it right or not, on asking questions and discussing about, okay, this is what I'm doing and what do you have to say. And thank you, Ms. Suman, also over here to say that it's not that we want to disagree with you, or we are not here to say that this is wrong and this is right. We want everybody to understand what it is, because everybody is swimming in the same water
We are
body
actually
and trying to
exploring.
survive. Yeah.
But I like I just like IB because they don't even reject anyone. They always accept. Acceptance is always there in IB. I never heard that they always have a good intention to support the students. So if the teacher like explore, then they appreciate that. And they never draw a line that we want to say that. They accept everybody's
Mhm.
perspective. That's the biggest thing. I just love IB
Yeah,
for this.
yeah, you should know the
Yeah.
mission statement. Everybody in their perspective, if they have a reason to
Right.
say that this is it, so everybody is right in their own. If you have a clarification to give about your stance.
I
So
generally said to my students, if you will say that sun rises in the west, then you have to prove with the evidences, and I will not say it's wrong. Maybe it is factual question, but you have to prove it. They said, ma'am, hum kar
Yeah.
sakte. Maine kaha, you just try.
You
But
justify
in
your
language you can't say.
you
Science,
justify.
yes.
okay, so
Thank
today we
you.
had a long talk about speaking. Okay, can we have future sessions where we can talk about the each of the
Hey,
different criteria and
yeah,
how
listening,
do we do what? Yeah, so do
I
let
would
me
love to be part of
know.
it.
Yeah, I also would love to have you all and continue with this conversation. It was so kind of you and generous of you to give your time and say that, okay, let's come. Frederick, thank you. First, you initiated 8:30, and then Miss Suman, she wrote to me. Gara said he would love to do it on Sunday, but even Kasturi, she sent me a message that she would want to do, but she has already planned something and she's out, so therefore she cannot come. But yes, if we get some questions on the group, I'll let you know, and we can have this session at 7 o'clock on Sunday. So if you can come up with, something on our own, that this is what we would want to discuss, because right now we just took to speaking and we went on about speaking because that
Yeah.
I think everybody has a challenge. there in understanding what kind of task to give. So if you want to focus on a particular topic and then talk only about it, I'm fine with it. And we can carry forward this conversation.
Basically,
Yeah.
Ms. Ashita, this is like space and time. It's a so vast area. So which topics we will be covering is challenging.
Yeah, okay. So we'll have that conversation about curriculum also. What do you think we should teach in phase 1, phase 2, phase 3? Whether we are doing the same thing in all the same subjects or in all the different subjects. These are all the questions that are there. I'm also looking at the different subject groups and on the Facebook groups. So of course we'll take those questions and we'll see how we can carry forward this conversation with language acquisition. And like I said, I've always spent most of my time as a coordinator in meetings with language acquisition to understand what are the
And
phases,
you
how do we
break
do
my
it.
myth. I always thought that you are an LA teacher, and today I got to know that you are not.
No,
Before every
but
message like that.
but
I
with
mean,
Maya, I know we
proactive.
have written the curriculum for PYP. I sat with
Yes,
Maya and
yes.
we did the phases for PYP Hindi. So I can also say that, okay, I have some part of language acquisition that I know of. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Gana. Thank you, Frederick.
Thank you,
Thank you,
everyone.
Rashmi.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Suman. Thank
teachers.
you,
Thanks, Ms.
Maya.
Ashita.
Thank you,
Special
Swati.
thanks,
Thank you
Ms.
so much.
Ashita.
Thank you,
You
everyone.
can initiate.
Thanks to
Thanks a
you
lot.
for being there and guiding us, because this is absolutely important. We don't have this opportunity often, and it's good to organize a discussion and teachers from all over India are discussing it, finding a common ground. That's absolutely good. And thanks to you.
Thanks a lot.
And
Thank you,
yes,
Gana. Thank you so
thanks
much.
to
Bye.
you.
Good
Yeah.
night.
Bye. Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good night.
Good night, guys.
See you
Good night,
guys.
everyone.